When I closed that door, it wasn't anger that guided me. It was closure, cold, deliberate, and long overdue. They stood on my porch, smaller than I remembered, their faces washed pale under the porch light. My father's voice wavered. "We just want to talk." I said nothing. I only looked at them. Then I shut the door. 8 years too late. I still remember the day the doctor told me the cost. $85,000. That was the price to keep my son alive. I had some savings, but not enough. So I called my parents. I expected hesitation, maybe guilt. What I didn't expect was laughter. Mom said, "You can't just throw money at every problem, dear." Dad added, "We're not a charity, Emily. You should have planned better." A week later, gold foil invitations arrived. My sister's wedding. $230,000. Crystal chandeliers, imported roses, champagne fountains. And while they toasted to new beginnings, my son lay in a hospital bed, pale and motionless. That was the day I buried the illusion that love was unconditional. I didn't confront them, didn't scream, didn't beg. That's what they expected. Instead, I smiled when they called, congratulated them on the beautiful ceremony. I learned that silence cuts deeper than rage. And revenge, it requires patience. I worked every hour I could, day shifts, night shifts, freelance gigs. I sold my car, my jewelry, my pride. Somehow we made it. Barely. My son survived. He grew stronger, healthier, happier, with each passing month. His laughter became the soundtrack of our survival. And piece by piece, I rebuilt. My parents kept their distance. Guilt has a funny way of disguising itself as respecting boundaries. They sent polite texts on birthdays and holidays. Surface-level affection. But I never forgot. I remembered every word, every shrug, every toast they made while my child fought for his life. So when their downfall came years later, I didn't gloat. I simply watched. It started quietly, with whispers about my father's business, embezzlement, tax fraud. Then came the audits, the lawsuits, the vanished investors. They lost everything, the house, the cars, the savings. And suddenly they remembered me. The first call came at midnight. Then another, and another. "Emily, it's bad. We just need a place to stay for a few weeks." My mother's voice was soft this time, trembling. For a moment, I almost felt pity. Almost. But then I remembered the machines, the sterile light of the hospital room, and her voice saying, "You should plan better." So I did. I bought a house, not grand, but solid, built a business, invested smartly, made sure my son would never again depend on anyone who used love as leverage. And when the day came, when they showed up on my doorstep fragile and desperate, I opened the door. Dad tried to smile. "Emily, you look good." I met his eyes. Better than ever. Mom stepped forward. "We've made mistakes." I cut her off. "No, you made choices." Her eyes shimmered. "We're family." I tilted my head. So was my son. Silence settled between us. Thick, suffocating. Like every lie and wound our family ever buried had come back to breathe. Then I said it calm and steady. "I needed $85,000. You spent nearly triple that on a wedding no one even remembers. Now you need a roof. And I'm giving you honesty instead." Dad opened his mouth. "Emily." I closed the door. They didn't knock again. Didn't call. Didn't write. And I never regretted it. Not once. Because the truth is, they didn't break me when they turned me away. They built me. Every sleepless night, every rejection, every cruel laugh forged me into something unshakable. I learned that family isn't who gives you their name. It's who stands beside you when everything else collapses. My son knows most of the story now. Not every detail, but enough. One day he asked, "Why don't we see Grandma and Grandpa anymore?" I smiled. "Because some doors, sweetheart, stay closed for a reason." Last Christmas, I got a letter. No return address, but I knew the handwriting. Inside, one line. "We're sorry. We just want to be forgiven." I burned it, not out of hate, but because forgiveness isn't a duty, it's a decision. And I chose peace instead. Sometimes I think back to that night on the porch, the way their faces fell when the door clicked shut. How, for the first time, they knew what it felt like to be on the outside looking in. People call it revenge, but it wasn't. It was justice. Quiet, clean, final. Because the thing about doors is, once you learn how to close them, you also learn how to keep them locked.